Welcome back. In our previous lecture, we covered options. In this lecture, we are covering futures and forward contract. Let's look at what will you learn from this lecture. First of all, we'll learn about forward contract and future contract. What are their definition. Then we'll also learn about the difference between forward contract and future contract. And finally, we'll learn how options are different from forward and future contract. Consider a crude oil producer and a farm which uses crude oil for its manufacturing unit. Over here, both parties, that means crude oil producer and the farm who uses crude oil for its manufacturing plant, are worried about the price of the crude oil. So both are concerned about the price risks with the crude oil. Over here, the forward and future contract can help the manufacturer of crude oil and the farm that uses crude oil for its manufacturing unit to minimize the risks of price fluctuation by sharing the price risk. So both parties over here can come to a contract to buy and sell crude oil. So a forward or a future contract is an agreement between two parties who are involved in buying and selling assets at a certain future time for a certain price. In a forward or future contract, the party or the institution or person who commits to buy the asset has the long position. So buyer in a forward or future contract has the long position, and the person or the party who commits to delivering the asset, that means the seller of the asset at a contract maturity, has the short position. Once again, in a forward or future contract, the person or institution who will buy the asset has the long position, and the person or institution who will sell the asset has got the short position. There are some differences between forward contract, future contract, and options. Let's look at what are the differences between futures, forward, and options. Both forward contract and future contract has got some sort of obligation for both buyer and seller of the assets. That means the person who is in long position and who is in short position, both have got the obligation to perform the contract. Whereas if it is option, there is no obligation for the buyer of the option. Secondly, there is no money exchanged in case of forward and future contract. In case of option, the buyer of the option needs to pay premium. So this is one of the advantages of forward and future contract, as there is no money exchanged when the contract is entered. Futures are traded on an organized exchange like Chicago Board of Trade and Chicago Mercantile Exchange, and futures are standardized to facilitate the trading, and there is a presence of clearing house in a future contract, as these are traded on organized exchange, and the clearing house eliminates the counterparty risks in case of future contract. There are different types of future contract on commodities, financial assets, and financial assets. If it is a forward contract, it will be traded over the counter market. So in over the counter market, there is no clearing house. So forward contracts are riskier than future contracts. but there are some advantages as well. Forward contracts can be customized through negotiation by the buyer and seller of the assets. So customization can be done if it is a forward contract. Foreign exchange forward contracts are most common to hedge currency risks. Let's look at what we have covered in this lecture. First of all, we have learned the definition of a forward and future contract. Then we have learned forward and future terms. We have also learned about the difference between forward and future contract and how forward and future contract are different from options. That's all about this lecture. In our next module, we'll cover financial system and financial institutions, and it will be on commercial banks.